not going to agree with the conclusion. So T-jump, like if making the kalam cosmological argument or the contingency argument to T-jump is not going to convince him that a God exists. He can grant from the beginning. Like I can ask Warzone, do you believe a necessary being exists?
Uh, sure. There has to be something necessary in existence. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Right. Okay. So I'm not going to waste my breath like making the contingency argument. He already grants the conclusion. Right now, do you know what the word necessary means, Warzone?
Something that must be like true.
No. So the word necessary is something that can't be conceived of in another way, or the negation of it is like impossible. So I'll give you an example. 2 + 2 = 4 is a necessary fact because it can't be conceived of in another way, and its negation is impossible.
No,
Is
no,
that
that's wrong. I disagree. I disagree.
okay? So you believe 2 + 2 = 4 is a contingent fact?
Yeah, it's a contingent factor. It depends on the way the universe works and how you perceive the way objects work. So your brain has to process information for you to make sense of the world. If your brain had processed information differently, then you would perceive things in a different way, which would be like hallucinations or whatever. Or similarly, if the universe had a different kind of behavior and you were perceiving correctly, also it won't be the case. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case that 2 + 2 is a necessary fact. It could be different.
Okay, so I'm disagreeing with you here because 2 + 2 = 4 is a tautology, meaning that it can't be any other
It,
way. It's not dependent
yeah,
on any
yeah.
mind. So if all of us didn't exist, if there was nothing, if there was no mind at all, and it was just 2 apples and 2 apples, it would be 4 apples, and that would still be a
Okay,
truth. The only way 2
so
+ 2 does not equal 4 is
mhm,
if you change what 2 means and what 4 means. If you play around like semantics, like you say 2 is actually 7
mhm.
and 4 is
No,
actually
no,
10,
yeah,
then 2 + 2 is not 4.
yeah, no,
That's changing the axioms. We're
yeah, no,
accepting
we can
classical
debunk.
axioms. So therefore, 2 + 2 = 4 is a
No, we
necessary
can
truth.
debunk that even without semantics. So I can give you an example. So it all depends on context, right? So let's take our universe for example. Let's say there is some fundamental underlying code of how things work, and let's say that this code is like embedded, just for the sake of argument, right? This code is embedded in like the mind of God, and according to God, like 2 + 2 is a necessary fact. So let's say there is some kind of information that is fundamental that dictates the way you understand numbers, so that 2 + 2 is 4, and now you do a calculation in the classical world, and you get this. The sum of those numbers, which is always going to be equivalent to 4, and then I'd have to agree with you, right? So similarly, if we go with that context, I'd agree with you. But then if I take a different context, let's say I take a computer, okay? I'm a coder, I create a game, and I edit the code, I make the code whatever I want, and then the game has a kind of system that's classical, where you can see objects, you can calculate the motion of objects, like by using classical physics, by whatever entities discover the way the game works. But now imagine I have edited the code in such a way, not changing the semantics, okay, but changing the behavior of the simulation, where every single, like if you look at one object, it's always going to be one object in the game. Or let's just say that a character goes to like a desert, and there are like stones, okay, and every other objects, like all other objects behave differently. So he goes to a desert, he finds a stone, and now he tries to find a second stone. Every single time he takes a second stone and tries to add it to the first stone, 6 additional stones magically pop up, and every single time he does that in the game, every single time 6 additional stones magically pop up. So in his classical system of creating a mathematical framework to describe the system that he sees, 2 + 2 cannot be equivalent to 4 in the system. It will always be equivalent to 8.
I Yeah, I just disagree. So I've seen
No, no,
T-Jump like
you
say
can't,
this or like
you
make
don't get to, no, you don't get to
I
disagree with that. That's a
I
literal fact
I
right
do
there.
get to
I can
disagree.
literally do this right
No,
now
But
using
you're
coding
you're
language and everything.
you're
can
twisting
we
you're
can we
you're
Anvil,
literally
just
twisting
wait, just
everything on its head.
Anvil,
No
Anvil,
point.
Anvil, just wait, brother. We're having a one-on-one, so I'd appreciate if you just keep it that way. First of all, Warzone, I can disagree with whatever the fuck I want. Like, you don't get to tell me what I can and can't
No, no,
disagree with.
you can't,
Second of all,
you can't, no, 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 wait, wait,
can
wait,
you
no,
can you
no, wait,
just
hold on, hold
can
on,
you give
hold
me
on,
the
hold on.
respect?
No, no,
Can you
you
give me
don't
the
get to
respect
disagree with
to?
that, right? Like if I
Okay,
tell
Okay,
you,
so
can you
if I,
moderate,
wait,
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 guys,
hold on.
don't overtalk. Don't overtalk. One at a time. So Warzone, like if he wants to say something, let him speak, and then he won't interrupt you.
Sure.
Yeah, like come on, bro. I gave you the respect to like listen to you rambling on, even if I disagree with you and I think it's completely retarded, right? So what you're telling me is that in the system, 2 + 2 = 4. You're not changing what 2 means. You're not changing what 4 means. It's all true, except sometimes when he finds like the second stone, magically in the code you type in, okay, 6 extra stones pop out of
Mm-hmm.
fucking
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland or pop out of your ass, right? That doesn't mean 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. You just have to add now +6, which would make it like 10. Like that's what it would mean.
No,
It doesn't mean 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore. You just have to adjust that in the actual like
no, no,
equation. Like this
you're still
doesn't
failing
solve
to
anything.
understand. No, You're retarded. Like you're failing to understand, right? The problem here in this framework is that we are observing the world, right? So in our world, there is a context, and we take one object, we keep a second object next to it, and every single time we try to do an addition, we get like the sum is basically two. But in this system, if suppose we were living inside of that system, right, and we try to add a second object next to the first object, you can never the sum of that will never be equivalent to two, because if you try to say that it is two, the conclusion is false, because everybody else that observes it always sees that like there are six extra objects that are magically popping up, which means the total sum is eight. So every single time you try to use the framework that you're talking about, you don't get two. It's like always false. It contradicts the observations. So two plus two
No,
is
no.
not a necessary fact in this simulation. You don't get to disagree with that. It's just same like saying that I'm an
No.
expert at blowing up buildings. Wait. If I tell you that I'm an expert at blowing up buildings, and then I blow up buildings, and then you disagree with that, you don't get to debate reality. Reality is what it is. It doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah, but so math is a description of reality, and the notation we use is description of reality. So if you like, let's take your example in the game. If I observe two stones coming into contact with each other, I'll write one stone plus one stone. If I observe six stones coming out of your asshole, I'm going to write plus six, right? And then I'll get the total, which is eight. You're not going to say in my system that's not true. It is true, right? So even under like Gödel's theorem, two plus two will still equal four. There's no system where you can say two plus two equals four is not a necessary fact. You can talk to philosophers and physicists. You can go to Roger Penrose if
Yeah.
you
I
want,
have looked at
and you
all
can
of that.
ask
It's
him,
not
is two plus two? Yeah, you can go to Roger Penrose right now. You can talk to him, and you can ask him, hey, Mr. Roger Penrose, great established physician, do you think two plus two equals four is a necessary fact, or can it be conceived of in another way? Can you rearrange that truth? There's a difference between two plus two equals four and your shirt is blue, right? One's a contingent truth, one is a necessary truth. If you can't even understand that, like basic fundamental principle in philosophy, and you want to tell me that two plus two equals four is a contingent truth, then we're not going to get very far. I'm not going to sit here and try and like convince you that a God exists if you can't even understand
No,
that two plus two
it's not
equals
even
four
the
is a
case that
necessary truth.
2 plus 2 is 4 is a necessary fact in like all possible worlds. That's like totally false. It's just the thing that you're
No, I didn't
assuming.
say it's
Not even
true.
the case. Like no
That's
experts
not,
like agree
no,
with
that's
that.
not
It's
what I
just
said.
like shit that you made
That's
up.
not what I said. That's not what I said, bro. You're just straw manning me.
No, you
I literally,
you just
I
said it is a
literally said,
necessary truth, right?
bro, you're not
It's
listening,
not a
bro.
necessary truth.
I said you're not listening, bro. I said two plus two equals four. It doesn't have to be true in all possible worlds. That's not what I'm saying, right? I'm saying it cannot be conceived of in another way, because there's a possible world where you can change the axioms and you can make two not equal two, right? Then in that possible world, two plus two won't equal four. So I'm not saying it's true in all possible worlds. You're not tracking, bro. What I am saying is if you keep the axioms that we use, which is the Peano axioms, which we use for arithmetic, right? That under those axioms, which everyone accepts, right, as a priori truth in mathematics, then two plus two is a necessary truth. You can't have it any other way.
Wait, so
It
that's
does.
I think that's the part where I think you got confused, because I wasn't saying that it is like I think maybe there is a miscommunication there. So when you say that 2 plus 2 is a necessary fact, then you have to probably have added that additional context, which is like 2 plus 2 is 4 in this particular context. It may not be true in all context. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but I defined to you what necessary means, like at the beginning. Like I explained this. Like I'm not saying it's true in all situations. I never said that. Like that's the straw man of my
Okay, so
position. So
then to clarify, what I mean by this is like when you say 2 plus 2 is a necessary fact, I thought like you may have assumed, or I think I thought that maybe you try to imply that it is true in like all possible worlds. So what I'm trying to say is like I'm agreeing with you that it is a necessary thing in like this classical system that we see, but beyond that, I don't really think it is a necessary truth.
yeah, okay.
Just the
Well,
classical system.
what? Okay. Let's put two plus two equals four aside for now. What do you think is a necessary truth? Give me an example of what you consider to be a necessary truth.
Something that is true in all possible worlds.
Give me an example.
Reality. Reality cannot escape
Reality is
like existence. Reality will always
reality is
exist, and there is no
no, that's
possible
not true.
scenario where it
So,
cannot exist.
eh, so, so is there a possible scenario where nothing ever came into existence?
Nothing ever came into existence.
Is
It
that a
depends on
possible
what you
world?
mean by that. Like,
Is that a possible
nothing
world?
ever
Is
came
that
into existence.
yes?
No, I think
From
nothing
nothing,
cannot
nothing
exist.
comes. Is that a possible
Nothing
world?
by definition cannot exist. There's
Bro,
only something.
is there? Yeah, is that a possibility? Is there a possibility that nothing ever came into existence? Is that a possibility or is that impossible?
No, it's impossible.
Okay, why is it impossible? Is it logically
Because
impossible or metaphysically impossible?
it's metaphysically impossible.
It's metaphysically impossible.
Hmm.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
why is it
I think it would
metaphysically
be
impossible?
logically impossible as well, because for you to like even ask that question, you have to exist. So
Do you know?
yeah,
Okay, do you know what the? Okay, you just flip flop, bro. So what? Do you know what the difference is between metaphysical impossibility and logical impossibility?
yeah, metaphysical would be something in the actual world, and like logical possibilities, like something that you can conceive of.
No. So okay. So if I say something is metaphysically impossible, what does that mean? And if I say something is logically impossible, what does that mean?
I just told you what it is. Something that you
Yeah, and
can
I told you
conceive
you're
of. In
wrong.
the other case, it would be something that is like metaphysics has to do with the fundamental nature of reality.
Can I interrupt
Okay,
for
bro.
a moment? I just want to let Bubba know that I'm watching you.
So you
But
said.
anyways,
So
we can just skip like the whole numbers part, and we can just directly get to like the necessary being. You think that God is necessary? I don't think God is necessary. I think the physical world that we see around us is necessary.
okay, can the physical world we see be composed of or be rearranged?
In what sense? Like, I mean, rearrangement.
So,
I guess
so,
it happens
so,
all the time,
so,
like
so,
energy
so
fluctuation.
wasn't. Let me ask you. So let me just ask you a question. Is a tree contingent or necessary?
It depends on which framework you're using. If you're using the A theory, then it is contingent. If you're using B theory, like everything in existence is necessary. All points in time exist all
Okay,
the time.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let me ask you. Even on B theory, it would be contingent. By the way, the only time it
No,
would
it
be
wouldn't.
necessary is if yes, it would. The
No,
only
no,
time
no,
it would
it
be
wouldn't.
necessary is if you believe in hard determinism, bro. Your theory of time doesn't
No,
matter, right?
what you said is wrong. Like in B theory, it wouldn't be contingent. That's false.
It would be contingent even in B theory, bro.
No, it
I'm
wouldn't.
Eastern
It wouldn't. That's
European
wrong.
and
Yes,
we
yes,
But you
yes.
believe.
can't
It
just
would,
keep
bro.
saying that
Yeah,
things are false. You have to actually prove it otherwise.
In
yeah,
B
yeah.
theory,
So,
everything is necessary. Nothing is contingent.
no, no, that's not B theory, bro. All B theory is saying
That's
the
exactly
past, the
what B
present, and the
theory is.
future are. Can you just wait for 1 second, bro? All B theory
hmm
is saying is that the past, present, and future are equally real. We shouldn't give
hmm
preference to like what we consider to be the present. So in A theory, we say the present is here, and then it'll escape, and then we'll have the future, and then so on and so forth. B theory is just saying that the past, the present, the future are all equally real at the same time. We shouldn't give preference to
hmm
either one, right? How does that in any way make the tree not contingent? Or make the tree like
I
necessary?
think you're failing to understand, right? Space and time are intertwined. For the tree to be
Whoa.
contingent, sorry, for the tree to like emerge, or if you have to go with emergence, the tree has to like pop into existence from whatever things prior to it. But if you take
Yeah,
the
that
B
makes it
theory,
contingent.
all wait, let me explain, right? You don't understand B theory. So all points in time exist all the time. They have the same ontological status, and there is no causal dependency between time events. So how will the tree pop into existence from some prior event if all these have like no
Contingent.
causal dependency? If all of them eternally
Uh,
exist?
bro, I'm talking about non-cause based contingency. I'm not talking about cause-based contingency, bro. You're not even understanding.
What?
So the tree is dependent on the tree is dependent on something prior to it or more fundamental than it. Like for example, sunlight, right? The tree needs sunlight, photosynthesis for it
No.
to keep growing.
That's in A theory. That
Trees
is
don't
in
need
A
photosynthesis.
because wait,
No,
wait, wait,
even
wait,
in
wait.
B theory.
I'm just correcting you. Just hold on. So the fact that
Are
the
you an
tree
A
depends
theorist
on
or a B theorist?
wait.
Are
The
you
fact
an
that the tree depends on the sunlight is only applicable within the A theory framework because causality is an illusion that is generated by consciousness.
No, causality is an a priori truth. I don't accept that. But anyway,
No, I don't care about those
are
words that
you
you just added. Like it's literally not a thing in
it
B
doesn't
theory. So
matter.
you're entirely wrong about that. Not how it
Are
works.
you a B theorist? Are you a B theorist?
Yeah, like a majority of physicists they go with like B theory. Yeah, so I support B theory.
Okay, okay, so you're a B theorist, right? So under B
Yep.
theory, the past, present, the future are all equally real, and like you said, there's no like causal or
Causal
ontological
dependency.
superiority between each.
Yeah, there is no causal dependency. It's just like numbers, like infinite numbers to the left, to the right. Like, and no previous numbers cause the next set of numbers. Like, you can just randomly jump to any number you want. There is no causal dependency.
Right. Okay. Is there any dependency at all in B theory? Yeah. Under B
No
theory, can I
dependency.
say I'm
Zero.
dependent? So under B theory, can I say that I am contingent on my mother to feed me for my existence, or is this
Nope.
not true?
No, this is not true.
So,
It's like
so under
nothing
B
is
theory, I don't need.
contingent.
Right. So under B theory, nothing is contingent according to your worldview.
Yep.
But, okay, so if someone says like on B theory, if someone says, oh, like humans need sunlight in order to survive, we're contingent on sunlight in order to not die, right?
Mhm.
That's an
Mhm.
incorrect statement according to your understanding.
Yeah, according to B theory, it is because like everything just exists simultaneously.
Okay.
What?
Okay. No, that's
What are
just
you
funny. It's
what are you
just
laughing about? That's exactly what B theory
I'm
is.
not.
Like you're making a joke
Yeah,
joke
yeah,
out of
yeah,
this
no,
out of this. Yeah.
no, no. I'm making a joke out of your position because even B
No,
theorists
you
don't say
aren't.
this, bro.
You aren't. Right. So I already. So I think to make this very simple, right? It is useful to use the A theory of time framework because sadly we are trapped within the framework of the A theory of time and the illusion that our consciousness creates. So in this framework, it is useful for us to go with the A theory to do experiments, to eat food, whatever, right? But what B theory is like actually showing, which is supported by eternalism in physics, is that all points in time exist all the time. Whatever we are experiencing is an illusion generated through consciousness, just like how I have all the frames on the of a movie that's laid out on a 2D surface, and when I shine the projector light, it appears like there is like motion and change and growth. But fundamentally, every frame is like frozen. There is no motion, there is no change, nothing is really happening. And the
Yeah,
direction
yeah,
in
but
which you play the frames is what creates the illusion of the causal order.
yeah, but that's why, like, you don't understand. When I say like something can be conceived of in another way, like that's what makes something contingent. I'm talking about an abstraction. I'm not talking about like in reference to some prior thing or some future event. I'm talking about an abstraction. If I take the tree by itself in abstraction without reference to anything else, is it dependent or independent? Is it made up of parts or is it not made up of parts? That's what I'm asking you.
Uh, I don't really know if there is like, I mean, sure, like there are some things that are fundamental. Like we have this kind of like distinction. So, like between objects, which again, I think is an illusion, but fundamentally, yeah, sure, it's made of energy.
Yeah, yeah, but look, what you're failing to understand is that B theory asserts that every moment in time exists equally. So the tree's existence is a fixed fact in our like four-dimensional space-time, but that doesn't negate the modal contingency of the tree. Like the tree's existence is not necessary. It could have failed to exist in a different possible world. It's merely one of the contingent facts that is laid out like in the block universe. Like this is what you're not understanding. You think you're under the false assumption that just because like there's a block universe or the past, present, and future are all equally real, that therefore there isn't like modal contingency or modal dependency. There still is. It still operates even on that worldview, bro. Like this is what you're not understanding.
No, no, it doesn't. Like, do you have any source for that? Like any peer-reviewed source? Go ahead.
Yeah, fine. I can find you one. No problem, bro.
Oh. Show me the code where it actually states that. Like there has to be contingency in B theory.
No, it's not that there has to be. It's that B theory doesn't negate like modal contingency, bro.
See that?
Just give me a.
Negative claim.
You guys can talk to him like while I'm getting him a
That's a negative
source.
claim. You hear that, son?
B theory does negate portal contingency if all times are equally real as B theory suggests. There is no room for genuine possibility or contingency. Everything that will happen does happen according to B theory, so the future isn't generally open or contingent. It's just as fixed as the past. Modal contingency requires genuine alternative possibilities, which B theory eliminates. There you go.
Yeah, no, but you're not understanding. I'm defining
No, no, I think you're
contingency in a
failing to
specific
understand, right?
way.
I'll wait for the
No, no,
source.
no,
I'll wait for
you're
the
failing
source.
to
Send me the
understand.
source. Send me the source first, and
Okay.
then we'll
I
send me the
will.
source first.
I will send you the source. Don't worry. But what I'm going to explain
Go
to you
ahead.
again, like I'm repeating myself here, is that I'm talking about things in abstraction. What you're talking is in reference to another thing. I agree with you. If I say like, if I commit to like a B theory and I commit to like a hard determinist, like necessitarian position, and I say then everything is necessary. There's nothing that isn't contingent because with reference to something like before me or prior to me causally, it's necessary. Everything had to be the way that it was. There's no way it could have been different. But I'm not talking about things with reference to other things. I'm talking about things in abstraction, which is what you're not understanding. I'm talking about the
No, I
tree
don't
in
care about.
abstraction by itself.
You know,
That's my
I don't
definition
really
of
care about
contingency.
abstraction, right? What I care about is
I care
like
about abstraction.
actually no, I don't care about abstraction because I care about empirical facts, right? Like empirical facts are like more accurate in allowing us to make conclusions about objective reality, not just pure abstractions. People use abstractions all the time and arrive at false conclusions, but when scientists like make use of like supercomputers and like advanced theories, they actually arrive at more accurate conclusions than a bunch of like armchair philosophers that are guessing in their head, right? So I don't really care about that.
Yeah, but you're cooking yourself right now because you're the armchair philosopher right now.
No, I'm not. I give you empirical facts and you're unable to provide sources. Anyway, go ahead and provide me the
You're
source to
not.
support your
This is
statement.
a metaphysical discussion, bro. It's not an empirical discussion. Like you're not
Yeah,
even
no,
tracking
I
the
don't care about
conversation.
metaphysical discussion, like using
This
this
is
pure abstraction.
metaphysics.
Like, yeah, I mean, sure. Like, even if you're talking about, like,
Why are you
even if you're
talking
making
about what is
metaphysical
the
claims,
wait?
right? Like, it doesn't
What
really
is the
matter, right? Because
wait.
science does make metaphysical claims, which is coming under metaphysical naturalism. So
No,
yeah,
it
sure,
makes
I
metaphysical
made metaphysical
assumptions.
claims.
You're literally sat there
you're,
falsifying
you're,
thing and saying things are
you're a
incorrect and not
retard, bro.
putting evidence in the side
Wait,
chat.
just wait,
Hopefully,
just wait.
is
I
that
just want
it?
to ask you a question. You said I'm denying an empirical fact or an empirical reality. Which empirical fact did I deny in this metaphysical discussion where we haven't spoken about empirical facts at all? Which empirical fact did I deny, Monkey?
I think, are you retarded? Like, I made a metaphysical claim, which is like
Name
B
me
theory,
one.
which is a fundamental framework, right? So,
Yeah,
you
is that
made
an
a claim
empirical
that you're
fact?
just talking in pure
Is that an
abstraction. So
empirical
that is
fact?
not that's not an empirical claim. That has nothing to do with like a metaphysical position, right? I made a metaphysical. I gave you a metaphysical position, which is also supported by physics. You're giving your abstract position, which nobody cares about.
Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to repeat the question again because you didn't answer it, right? So you said you made the claim. You can retract it if you want, but I'm just making sure that we're on the same page here. You said that I denied an empirical fact or an empirical reality, right? That's what you
Mm-hmm.
said. I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
in that conversation, which was metaphysical, which empirical fact did I deny? Because I'd like to know. I don't remember denying any empirical facts.
I think towards the end you said like you're talking in pure abstraction, so then you're just using your abstraction to justify some empirical thing or like try to deny it. So which I'm not agreeing with.
What is the I'm just going to repeat it again, bro. What is the
Mhm.
empirical fact that I denied? You know what empirical fact is, bro? It's
Yeah,
an
so I'm
observation.
saying
Which
the B
observation
theory,
did I
yeah,
deny?
yeah. So the B
Yeah.
theory, which is a foundational position, like a foundational framework, like a metaphysical position, it does like negate contingency. So even the modal thing that you said, modal contingency is negated by this empirical observation or whatever we understand through quantum mechanics or what we understand using the latest theories in physics, including eternalism. So it does defeat your position, right? So you need to provide empirical evidence to support your position. So please go ahead and provide the source first before you blabber.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the source, don't worry. But I'm just wondering, like, did anyone hear what's it called, like an empirical fact that I like denied in all of that rambling? Because I didn't.
Yeah, I think you might be deaf. Anyways, like send me the source. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
And as you're searching, I may just add one more point. Even if I skip the B theory, right? Even if I go with the A theory, where I agree with you that there is some contingency, everything has
I
contingency,
don't
like
care.
with me
You're not
myself.
an atheist. I don't care. Look, if you're not an atheist, I don't care. I don't want to debate A theory with someone who's not an atheist. If you're a B theorist, defend your
Mhm.
position. I don't care about some other position.
No, I mean both theories are supported by evidence. It's just that like B theory is supported by more. But I just say that even if I go with the A theory framework, I can still refute the position of God because I can just say that energy and quantum fields are fundamental. So God is like out of the picture. Send me a link. Send me a link to the source.
He literally sent the citation, like the source and the
I
page
sent you
number.
two sources actually.
Yeah, two
Just
sources.
send me the
I
link to
have
the source so I can do a control F. So I can do a control F and just verify.
Bro, he sent you everything. Just copy it.
Oh yeah,
How
just like
you-
yeah, legit. You can just type the source in PDF. It'll come up. Like, and like, by the way, like Michael Ree makes the same point. Like Brian Leftow as well. Like he says, like even if an event is eternally real, like in the sense that God is eternally aware of it and exists in like four-dimensional manifold, it does not like follow that the event could not have been otherwise. B theory is a claim about ontological parties across times. It's not about modal necessity. All philosophers know this, but for some reason you're agreeing.
But Orthogona, who are you?
Okay, so we have a problem, right? So you'll still need to help me out. Like, send me a link to the source so I can exactly search the quotes that you sent me. You have to send me the source because when I
Oh,
search it up, I don't get it.
Okay, no problem.
No,
I'll DM it to you. Okay, are you willing to grant it, like for the sake of conversation, like while I find you the PDF?
Wait, grant what exactly?
Because you're just being pedantic now. Like I swear to God, if T Jump gave you an exact like quote and reference, you wouldn't be like, oh, it doesn't come up for me on Google.
No. I'm being serious, right? I actually looked it up. I can't get exactly. I just tried like removing some of the words. I tried searching for just the first few words. I'm not getting exactly what you're sending. So just send it to me. What's so hard? Like if you have the sources.
bro, you don't know how
Yeah,
to
I don't.
search. When somebody gives you a
Yeah,
citation, bro,
that's crazy, bro. He wants me to do his
If you
homework.
want
ask
to
me
do
for a
the
source, I would be sending you the link and the quotes from the source, not just the quotes.
Well, okay,
nah,
so
bro,
you have
nah.
to. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's fine.
No, it's
is
fine.
a
Like,
pity.
because it could be possible that you're lying, right? So I need to verify that you're lying or not, right? So you need to send me the source with the link, and then I read it, and then I find
It's in
out
the
like
side
if
chat,
there's any
Warzone.
relevance with
It's
what you're
there.
talking about. So,
It's there, Warzone.
okay.
I guess I'll pause again while he reads.
Doesn't really
Being
matter,
picky
right?
with this
Because
source.
the reason why we have peer review is so that we can rule out all the guys that like make shit up, right? So I don't just care about like a scientist or expert saying random things in random videos. What we care about is what passes or goes through the peer review process, what gets published in actual papers. That's what I care about.
Here, I'll kind of like.
Well, this one is a peer review.
This is where I'll kind of like defend Leafy on this side, Warzone, because first you asked him for a source, and then he gave you the quote from the source, and then you asked for a link, and then he sends you the link, and now you want the peer-reviewed part of the source.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I think I made a mistake, right? I made a mistake, or maybe I'm not
You
sure
made
if I
many
fully did.
mistakes. I think your
No,
existence was a
I
mistake, to
haven't
be
made
honest.
many mistakes. I'm really sorry. So I think one of the mistakes that probably happened was I didn't keep emphasizing that I needed a peer-reviewed source. I think at the beginning I said like, "Do you have any peer-reviewed academic source related to some claim that he made?" And then after that, I didn't keep repeating it, and then he maybe forgot that. So when I ask for a source, I'm talking about credible sources, not just like random sources or like random books like scientists can write or whatever. Care about peer-reviewed sources.
and if you, I would say if the
I
best.
think you're just being overly pedantic at this
Yeah,
point. To
yeah,
be
and I would
honest, I think
say
you just don't want to have the discussion.
at this point, I would just kind of say, in order to make the conversation more productive, what would be best is if, like, for the sake of argument, you were to kind of grant that what he's saying is verified by some reliable sources, so that we can just like not get it, so we can stop being so pedantic about the source itself.
No, I wouldn't grant that, right? Because reliable or credible sources for me are not just like random books that are published by an expert in the field, but rather what they publish in actual academic sources. Like, for example, websites that end in .edu. Like maybe Stanford is like a good like a good source. Like for philosophy, aside from that, like you have a lot of like government sources, like peer-reviewed scientific sources. You have Nature, you have PubMed, you have like a lot of like credible sources, right? Those are what I consider as credible, not like
Did you say
random news
PubMed?
articles or random websites. Yeah.
Did you say PubMed?
Yep.
In a metaphysical discussion, you want to cite PubMed?
Yeah, because you do have papers that talk about that do make metaphysical claims. So you can find science papers all the time that make metaphysical claims.
Okay, so all right. So you
Yeah.
said Stanford, right? Okay.
Yeah. So in
Let me just
Stanford,
confirm.
the link that your friend sent here. Okay, I'm going to open the time thing. I want to see like, does it say anywhere where what exactly you said? I need to find.